hope we're live. Hi everyone. I'm just gonna quickly pin a comment. This is never a smooth process. Oh, there you go. So that's it. Sorry. Oh God. Give me 1 second. I just want to make sure that it's up here before we start. There you go. Perfect. Hi everyone. I'm so happy that you guys are joining. In a second, Kwik, brain expert, one of the most wonderful humans that I happen to call a friend, will be joining me in a second. We'll be talking everything about learning how to learn a language. What can we do to our brain, not to let it be too lazy these days. But so let's see if Jim is around. There you are. Hi, Jim. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How is everybody?
I think everyone's okay. First of all, congratulations on your book. This is huge.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
This is.
Is that backwards?
It is, but that's okay.
Oh, my shirt is backwards too, right?
But follow your
Follow your heart,
heart.
but bring your brain.
Oh, that's such a beautiful message. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, amazing. I'm so glad that, like, part of me is surprised that you only came out with the book now, because the knowledge that you have about brain and about how to become the best version of yourself is fantastic. So I'm so glad that the book is coming out right now. And I know that you're offering a program to everyone who will be buying the book right now. So I'm linking limitlessbook.com, and you guys will be talking about the brain right now. And I'm going to start with the super easy question. How do you become limitless?
How do you become limitless?
Yes.
So
I'll just sit back and listen to you talk.
So when I'm talking about being limitless, I don't mean being perfect. Limitless for me is about progressing and advancing beyond what you currently believe is possible. And I think that's really what life is about. You talk about adventure, and by the way, for my community who's here, this is my friend Aggie. She's amazing, TEDx speaker, author, new author also as well. We've had her on our podcast talking about how travel impacts and benefits the brain. And,
I would love to tell people how I was part of that podcast.
Yes, please.
Basically, Jim said, hey, I have these drinks over at my place. Can you come earlier and help me with the travel video? So here I am. I'm thinking, like, maybe he wants me to, like, grab the cables. Sure, I'll show up. And Jim is like, can you just be a guest on my podcast? Like, I was like, wait, what? Completely underprepared. He's like, yeah, just talk about brain, you know? And I'm like, cool, not intimidating at all. I'll do it to you one day as well. So
no, it was such
totally
a powerful,
put me on the spot.
No, I feel like travel is one of the wonderful things you can do for your brain. It's hard to hear right now, but when we're traveling to, like, our kitchen or our living room, but actually with your story, and I'll go into how to become limitless and learn languages and facts and remember names and speed reading and all that. But you know, in when I was interviewing you for our podcast, you talked about getting a boat when you've never sailed before, and you got a boat. And you know, is there any similarities between you literally sailed across the world, and you know, that's as much as physical distancing as you could get.
Yeah, that's the ultimate social distancing. Yeah. Honestly, it does feel very, very similar, in the sense of, like, what I was trying to explain to people about my sailing trip is that it's not that a day was hard, is that the fact that you don't know how long it's going to take, but you do know it's going to be at least a couple of weeks. And that, like, that managing your thoughts and not, like, taking it a day at a time was extremely challenging. So I can relate to that. It does feel similar in that sense. That it's like, I'm like, okay, today's like one of these days when I feel like I'm on the boat. I'm like, oh my God, this is so hard. And I'm looking at the calendar. It's the 8th. It's like a long way till the 30th. And
Right,
like,
right.
oh.
So I'm sure there's a lot of similarities between that, and I know a lot of people are, we're all cocooning right now, and we could talk about what to do while you're in
How to
it
cocoon
too.
well.
Yeah, because I think there's part of it is we know about physical hygiene, washing your hands and sanitizing everything, but not mental hygiene. And so we could be physically distant, but we don't have to be socially distant. We're being social now. We don't have to be mentally distant. We don't have to be emotionally distant from people.
Yeah.
So that's so I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Me too. Do you want to start with that maybe? For those of us who just are joining in, maybe we can start with how to make sure that our brain doesn't get lazy during the quarantine.
Yeah, we could do that, and then I'm going to share 3 keys to becoming limitless, and it'll help
Perfect.
anybody to learn faster, and also it's really about unlocking human potential. And so, and people could take notes, and because we'll
I
go
brought my notebook.
Okay, so I have mine too. So fantastic. Well, right now I feel like we're cocooning, and we're going through a metamorphosis. We literally are going through a transformation, a different life cycle, and we feel like that we are cocooning, that we are alone with our thoughts, we're alone with our doubts, we're alone maybe with our fears, we maybe feel alone. And so what can you do while you're there and to come out as a butterfly, with your best foot forward? So 5 C's, really quickly. I like to alliterate everything until it's very memorable. 5 C's that we could do is number 1, this is a wonderful time for clarity, meaning solitude can be a gift if you use it for self-reflection, meaning it's a nice reset to check in with your life, and ask what's most important to me in life, what's most important to me in relationship, what's most important to me in a career, what's most important to me in family or anything or your purpose. And then once you come up with the answers, and we're not always good at this in the beginning, but it's a nice way to kind of look at our life with fresh eyes, and maybe ask ourselves, are my actions aligned with those values? So the first thing I would say is clarity. The second C that we could do while we're cocooning is care. We've all heard this phrase that self-care is not selfish. I feel like what a wonderful time to fall back in love with that person in the mirror who's been through so much but is still standing. It's one of those things where I think that in not just, again, there's physical care. We talk about in the book, and you and I have this conversation about the best brain foods, right? Avocados and blueberries. I call them brain berries, and broccoli and green leafy vegetables and olive oil.
And olive oil, right?
Yeah, olive oil is good for the brain. The brain's
I still remember.
No, you have a good memory. Dark chocolate also good for your brain. What generally is good for your mood is good for your mind. Walnuts, great for your brain. But how can you care for yourself? And part of self-care is optimizing, making sure you sleep, stress management, and all the things that you would do for somebody that you'd want somebody that you care about to do. And I think part of self-care also is knowing that when you say yes to somebody or something, we're not saying no to ourselves. That part of self-love is setting borders and boundaries on our time, on our emotions, on the things that are most valuable. So care is another one. So you have clarity, you have care, you also have contribution. I feel like one of the antidote to fear and being scared is service. And how can you, with your time or your talent or your treasure, be able to help somebody else? And it could be as simple as picking up the phone and calling, one of your neighbors and checking in on them, and just, not having a level of, community, because that's very important. But what's challenging nowadays is the overindulgence in the media, because how your brain works. We're talking about the brain. It can get hijacked very easily for what threatens you. And your brain primarily is a deletion device. People don't know that. Your brain is primarily concerned with keeping information out, because there's, 1 billion different things you could focus on, and that would be too intense and too overload. So what gets in are the things that you focus on and that you ask questions about. And so let me give you an example. It's kind of like an Instagram algorithm, your mind, that if you are going through Instagram and you like and comment on every cat video, then Instagram shows you more cats. And the same thing happens if you
I
are
love that
watching
metaphor. It's so true.
if you're watching the media all the time and what's threatening. And I'm not saying don't be aware of what's going on. I think that's important. But if we overindulge, and I think everyone knows the point where, okay, this is a little bit too much, because if you start focusing on what's dark, your feed just becomes all dark, and then you don't shine a light on possibilities. You don't shine a light on what you could be grateful for. You don't shine a light on opportunities. And so that would be, we're talking about contribution. So number one, like for us on Instagram, we are doing a live for students, right? We do for, anyone who's a student or anyone who's a parent who has kids, we're doing 90-minute masterclasses on how to learn and how to speed read. And the one subject you're not taught in school, they teach you what to learn, but not how to learn. So that's our way of uniquely, contributing. And so that would be another C. So you have clarity, you have care, you have contribution. I would also say contribution. Fourth C, I would say be creative. I mean, how can you use this time to, people don't know this, not everybody does, but during the Great Plague is when Shakespeare really shined. I mean, he was socially distancing himself, and that's when he wrote, Macbeth. That's when he did Arthur and Cleopatra. Some of his greatest work came in a place of solitude. And Sir Isaac Newton, during the Great Plague, his university in London was closed, so he had to go home. And that's when the apple fell on his head, and he came up with the theory of gravity and the theory of motion. And so how do you want to create? What have you always wanted to write, or your art, however you're going to express yourself? So I think the future belongs to the creatives, meaning that a lot of jobs are being disrupted. They're going to automation, they're going to artificial intelligence. But what makes us human is our ability to be creative. Like when I talk about being limitless in the book, I think the limitless resource on planet Earth is human potential, right? It's our mind. There's no limit to our creativity. There's no limit to our imagination. There's no limit to our human determination. So where can you create? So you have 5 C's. You have clarity, you have care, you have contribution, you have creativity, and the 5th thing that we could do while we're cocooning is our capabilities. Like, what skills have you always wanted to learn that you always said you didn't have time? You always wanted to learn how to cook. You always want to learn salsa. You always want to learn another language. And right now, with the internet, we have unfettered access to the world's knowledge. And so where can we actually invest that into learning something, a new subject or a new skill?
Speaking of learning, I love what you say in your book. For those of you tuning in, we're talking with Jim Kwik, and his book is coming up in a couple of weeks, Limitless book. And if you use the link pinned right there, you are able to get a 10-day course.
We
and
created a
learn how to be
course. Our goal is for this book to be the most read book of 2020. Maybe it's not the most bought book, but I want to teach people to read it. So many people go out there and they buy books online. And buying a book is a different skill than reading the book. Some people are really good at buying books, 100%. And they sit on your shelf, and it becomes shelf help, not self-help. But buying a book is very different than learning how to read it. So when people pre-order the book today, it comes out this month, but when people pre-order, they get a 10-day speed reading memory focus program as my gift, because I want, when the book arrives, you're going to go through it. We also created a 4-week book club for when people receive the book. There's 4 sections to the book, so we're going to do one section a week. I'm going to show you how to read it, how to remember what you read. Because you ever read a page in a book, got to the end, and forgot what you just read, and you go back.
Yeah, or I read a book and I'm like, I honestly don't remember what this book was about. Like, so a couple of months later.
Remember this book, and most importantly, how to apply the book also. But
it's amazing, and I love what you say, that like, if knowledge is power these days, that learning is superpower. So if you can learn how to learn, you can just capabilities. So point number 5, when you say, oh, you can finally learn a new skill and cook and salsa, and I'm like, well, you should start from learning how to learn, and then once you can figure out how to do it most efficient way, then you can you can learn a language in no time.
The last C, and I see everybody, so I want to thank everyone for being here and being so active here. I believe that if there was a genie that could grant you any one wish, but just one wish, you know, everyone would wish for infinite wishes. And if I was your learning genie and I could help you learn any one subject or skill, become a master at any one subject or skill, what's the equivalent of asking for infinite wishes? It would be learning how to learn. Because if you could learn how to learn, you could grant all your own wishes. You could apply that towards math, money, music, Mandarin, martial arts, anything, everything gets easier.
Yeah. Honestly, that would be my one wish for this quarantine and for life. If I could have the ability to learn whatever I want, I can come up with, that just feels like it does make you feel limitless. And I love, again, going back to your book, I love what you talk about how close we are from achieving our dreams, like about this close,
We're
right?
this close. Yeah, I always say, like, if everybody has their bucket list and all their dreams that they've ever wanted in their life, and they write that down, because that's the first step in creating something. You take the invisible and then you write it down, and then it becomes visible.
Why don't whoever's watching this, maybe they can write down whatever it is that you trying to achieve this year or during this quarantine.
Absolutely.
Your bucket
I would
list right
say
now.
that, I mean, the ultimate, I would ask everyone to fast forward, 6 months, 12 months from now, and ask themselves this question: is what's the story you want to tell about this time? If you were to project a year in the future, what's the story, not about what was going on in the world, but what was going on inside of you at this time? Did you, and so to get clarity, but writing things down, I think when you write things down, it makes you're this close to everything on that list, and it's this, because it's the power of your mind. Yes, it's like your brain.
This is how far you are from
you're
your
this
dreams.
Close. And the thing is, when we talk about technology, how amazing technology is, the ultimate technology you're born with, which is your brain. So, but your brain doesn't come with an owner's manual, and that's why I wrote this book, to show you how your brain works, so you could work your brain, so you could learn faster, you could achieve more, and you could just have that peace of mind and that positivity. And it sounds like a lot, but here's the thing, I teach this everywhere, from Harvard, to Nike, to Google, and what I've seen is genius leaves clues, and there's always a method behind the magic. And so when we get into the limitless model, which I want everyone to write down, this is really the key to opening up and unlocking that dream of yours, that future of yours.
Yeah. All right, everyone grabs a piece of paper, because we're about to learn how to be limitless. It doesn't happen very often, so let's do it.
All right, so here are the 3 keys. I want everybody to think about an area of your life where you feel stuck. And this is interactive, right? We'll make this like a little workshop.
Mm-hmm.
Think about an area of your life where you feel like you're not making progress. It could be in your business or your career, in your relationship, in your health, your body. Where do you feel like you're stuck in a box? And in that box, it's 3D, right? And the 3 dimensions that hold you in that box, they're 3 forces. So I'm going to ask everybody to take a piece of paper and draw 3 circles. And the 3 circles are all intersecting together. So it kind of looks like Mickey Mouse. It looks something like this, right? 3 circles. And these are the 3 keys for learning anything and achieving anything you want in your life. And so, perfect. And so the top left circle, that is your mindset. That is your mindset. I'm going to make this extremely practical. And everyone could share this if they want, because I feel like this is, your family and your friends could really, that you feel like can benefit from this. But your mindset are your assumptions and your attitudes about something. Ciao from Italy. Oh, wow. There's so many people around. Where's everyone from, by the way? I know this is very...
Yes, please let us know. I mean, lots of love to Italy.
Yeah, I'm wishing everybody who's watching this right now lots of strength, lots of safety, lots of health, whatever you need most. I'm sending your way. Yeah. But so the first part is your mindset.
New York City. Perfect.
I'm in New York City.
Mindset, got it.
Yeah. So the circle is mindset, and what falls in there are things like what you believe is possible, what you believe you are capable of, what you believe you deserve, okay? So the last circle I'm going to tell you in advance are methods. The 3 M's. The first one's mindset. The third one are the ones below is not the methods. And here's the thing, like this book originally was a book completely on methods. There are chapters, a chapter on improving your memory, a chapter on speed reading, a chapter on focus and concentration, a chapter on how to study difficult material and learn languages. But a lot of people, I realized I wanted to make this book so people actually used it. And so many people know what to do, but they don't do what they know. You know what I mean? Like we know we should meditate. We know we should
that's
eat
a good one.
We know we should eat well. We know we should exercise, but we don't always do it. And why? Because you're missing one of these 3 things. And so going back to this, the mindset is what you believe is possible, what you believe you're capable of, what you believe you deserve. And so that's the first part. The second circle connected to it is your motivation. Your motivation. And here's the thing, when I say motivation, I bet some people, by a show of hearts, how many of you procrastinate? How many of you have ever put something off and not done the thing that you're supposed to do? People procrastinate and they wonder why. It's lack of motivation. Now here's the key. I'm going to give you a 3-step formula.
Show this to people.
I love this so much. Wow. 3 keys to motivation. And this is, if you've ever, motivation, let me tell you what it's not. Because in this book, I debunk a lot of lies in the mindset section. And these 7 lies to learning, it is like use 10% of your brain is a lie. You actually use all your brain. That, you know, and one of the lies.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yes. So it's not, you don't use 10
Jen,
or 20%.
spoiler alert. Don't tell me what's in the book.
Well, but a lie, you know what a lie is? A lie for me is, everything is an acronym and easy to remember. Lie, L-I-E, it's a limited idea entertained. It's a limited idea that you're entertaining. It's not necessarily true,
that's
but we're
so
putting
good.
energy there. And here's the thing, I could give you the method and I'll share with you how to learn languages and how to remember names. That's the method. But if your mindset is, oh, I'm not smart enough, or I'm stupid, or I have a horrible memory, in the mindset, your brain is like a supercomputer and your self-talk is the program it's going to run. So if you tell yourself you're not good at remembering names, you will not remember the name of the next person you meet because you program your supercomputer not to. I always tell people when they come to me, they say, oh, I'm too old, I'm not smart enough, I'm not worth enough. I would say, stop. If you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. If you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. And
I heard you say that before. It's so powerful.
I think it's just reminding people what they already know, that if people really knew how powerful their mind is, they wouldn't say or think something they didn't want to be true. So you have to monitor your self-talk because your mind is always eavesdropping on your self-talk. Your mind is always eavesdropping on your self-talk. So is your body. Your body's always eavesdropping on it also. And so even if you find yourself saying something like, I don't have a great memory, just add a little 3-letter word like yet at the end. I don't have a great memory yet, because it opens up that possibility.
It's going to be my new magic word.
Exactly. It's like in mindset, it's the 2 most powerful words in the English language are the 2 shortest. I am. I am. Whatever you put after that is your identity. It's your destiny, really. And so that's how powerful your mind is, and you want to keep it as positive as you can. So the second M is motivation. Now, here's the thing: you could have the infinite mindset. I was going to show it to people. Exactly. You could have the infinite mindset, like you could have a limitless mindset and have the methods. But if you're not motivated, nothing's going to happen. And when I talk about motivation, it's not getting hyped up and excited for the moment. A lot of people could go to a seminar and jump around and dance around and get excited, saying, "Oh, I'm going to change my life tomorrow. I'm going to start working out. I'm going to start learning that language. I'm going to start reading every day or meditating." And then the next
Jim Kwik is so cool. This book is amazing.
Exactly.
Now I'm going to do it. And then a week later.
Yeah, because motivation for a lot of people is how people describe it as like a warm bath. It's nice and warm. It feels warm, but then it cools down. Then you have to heat it up again. So here's the key, though. there's 3 parts to sustainable motivation. So when we're talking about limitless, did you see the movie Limitless? Did anyone see the movie with
I
Bradley Cooper
did.
and Robert De Niro?
Oh, it's
That's
so
where
good. Like,
that's where he took the
you don't
pill.
even feel bad for him. You're just excited.
Right. He took the pill and all of a sudden he had great focus. And he wrote his book really fast and he had this amazing memory and he learned languages, right? And he had this surge of motivation. But when the pill wore off 24 hours later, he went back down to 0 again. And so you don't want motivation to go up and down, up and down. The 3 keys, the formula for sustainable motivation, to be motivated your whole life, 3 keys. It's P times E times S3. P times E times S3. And I'll explain this. So if you feel like you're not motivated or your friends aren't motivated, your team's not motivated, your significant other's not motivated, something here is missing. The P stands for purpose. And I don't mean your life purpose.
I'm so glad we're talking about it because it's like, I think a lot of people lack motivation these days. So this is super, super helpful.
I think a lot of times people like, and this, it's okay. Like I'm all, if you need, like if people are binge watching Netflix and they go to the next show, that I think that's okay. Like we're also human and sometimes we have to be able to, allow ourselves to be human. I'm just saying that start asking yourself this question is this getting me where I want to go or who I want to be? I think you should have a to-do list, but I think it's more important to have a to-be list. Like, who do I want to be today?
To-be list.
And starting your day with that. And so motivation, maybe you want to be motivated. Here are 3 keys. The P times E times S3 is the formula. P stands for purpose. And when I talk about purpose, I don't mean your life purpose, but I do a whole chapter and a whole section on how to find your life purpose, the difference between passion and purpose. I believe passion is what lights you up, and you can have a lot of things that light you up. You can think a lot of things you're passionate about. You could be passionate about food. You could be passionate about travel. You could be passionate about things. So for me, passion is what lights you up. Purpose is what lights other people up. Like, how do you use your passion to light other people up? So my passion, because I had a head injury when I was a child, I had learning challenges. When I was 9, a teacher pointed to me in front of the whole class and said, "That's the boy with a broken brain." That became my identity. That label became my limit, and it put me in that box, right? And so you have to be very careful with your words. That's why. But that became, so I grew up with these learning challenges, but now I love to learn. That's my passion. And my purpose is teaching other people how to learn. All right. So, and there's a strategy for that. But really, when I'm talking about purpose, when it comes to learning or living, it's having a reason for something, having a reason to do something. Because the evidence that you're motivated, it's not what you say, it's not what you feel, it's what you do. Somebody is only motivated because they're doing something. Somebody could say they're motivated, but if they're not doing the workouts, if they're not reading, if they're not doing the thing they say they're motivated, they're not really motivated. So P is finding the reasons to do that thing. And here's the other thing is you don't have to enjoy that thing. It's great if you could bring joy into that. But, I know many people who work out every day, they're very motivated, but they don't enjoy working out, but they still do so because they have a purpose. So ask yourself why. One of the endorsements on the book is by Simon Sinek, who we've had on the podcast a few times. He wrote a book called Start With Why. And so ask yourself, why do I want to learn this language? Why do I want to remember this person's names? Because reasons reap results. Reasons reap results. If you can't come up with a reason, you won't get the result. And it's not just intellectual reason. You can know why you want to eat well. You have to feel it. And allow yourself to feel the consequence of doing it, but also the consequence of not doing it. Right? And so what are you missing out on if you don't do this thing? So find a purpose. The E stands, now my mind went like this. That's amazing. My mind went like this. If I wanted to build the
I'm such a good student.
Motivated human being, if I was going to build the ultimate motivated human being, if they just have a big enough purpose, will they always be motivated? And my mind thought, no, because they could be missing the E, which is energy. Somebody could be motivated to work out. They could have a reason to work out, but if they didn't sleep for 2 days, because they had anxiety and fear and they pulled all-nighters, then they aren't going to, they're not going to have the energy, so they're not going to be motivated to follow through working out. If somebody, let's say, they want to be motivated to, we teach people how to read 2 times or 3 times faster. We have a whole book a week club, and literally thousands of people online from 195 countries who just read a book a week. It would be amazing, 52 books a year, right? If somebody has decades of experience, and like you wrote a book, they could sit down and read that book in a few days. They could download all that information in a few days. The biggest advantage you could have is to be able to read faster, right? And so, but you could say you have purpose to read a book, but if you ate like a really heavy meal and you're in a food coma, you don't have the energy, so you're not going to read that day.
Yeah.
All right, so you have to check your energy. So in the book, in the chapter on energy, I give you the 10 things you must do to have like unlimited mental energy. And it's everything from the brain foods to optimizing how to optimize your sleep for those of you who have trouble sleeping, to doing all like 8 other things to optimize your brain. And then finally, my mind said, okay, the ultimate human being that's motivated all the time, they have purpose. They know their why, and they have unlimited energy. Are they always motivated? And my mind was like, no, there's an exception. There's one time where they won't be motivated, and that's where they lack S3, a small, simple step. Meaning somebody could have all of the purpose to work out or to learn that language.
Small, simple.
They could have all the energy, limitless energy, limitless purpose. But that thing that they want is way too big. Meaning they want to find their soulmate and marry them and live happily ever after. That's too big of a goal, right? I want to build $1 million business. I want to have the perfect body. Why? Is because when it's too big, it's intimidating. Or if it's too big, it's confusing because you don't know where to start. And S3 stands for small, simple step. And the question you ask yourself to find out what that small, simple step is, what is the tiniest action I could take that gives me progress towards that goal where I cannot fail? The smallest step I could take where I cannot fail. And the reason why it works is because it requires very little effort and very little energy. And so, for example, maybe you want to work out. Maybe it's not thinking about how to work out an hour every day and do Pilates and Soul Cycle and everything. Maybe it's just getting on your running shoes, right? Maybe it's not reading an hour a day.
I'm just gonna
maybe this is amazing. Maybe people should screenshot that. Maybe it's not
right.
Exactly. Maybe it's not. Let's say reading an hour a day. A small, simple step is opening up the book, right? Or reading one sentence. And in the book, I talk about the real science and art around creating your habits. Because first you create your habits, and then your habits create you. First you create your habits of meditation, eating well, exercising, sleeping, prioritizing sleep, and then those habits create you back. And I believe that the treasure that everybody is seeking, the treasure you seek is hidden in the work you're avoiding. The treasure you seek is hidden in the work you're not doing.
Jim is just, you're on fire. I love it. I don't have enough paper.
But in the book, it comes down to your routines, right? And we've talked about this. Like if people search online on Facebook or YouTube, Jim Kwik, you'll see like 300 million video views, but a lot of it is Jim Kwik morning routine. Look at that one, like the 10 things I do every morning to jumpstart my brain.
I remember. Can we just talk about one, just to give people a little sneak peek? Because I know I'm asking you a lot of questions, but I'm going to say my favorite one, and you tell me your favorite morning routine.
Okay.
According to Jim Kwik. So I watched that video that you're talking about, and I remember that the one that really was like, oh, that's interesting, was when you said that you're supposed to brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand. So I'm right-handed, so I remember that I would like brush my teeth with my left hand, and it felt really awkward, but apparently you're saying it's good for the brain.
There is. Here's the reason why. So the 10 things I do each morning that don't take up time, that actually you're doing. One of the things is try brushing your teeth or eating with
Yeah.
You to be present. You know, one of the biggest challenges, the worst thing you can, so I talked about to-do list, to-be list, to learn list, but you also want to have a not to-do list. Like, what's on your not to-do list? Can everybody hear this? I think there's an
Yes,
audio.
now I think you're breaking up. You were breaking up a little, but now I can hear you just fine.
How's it sound right now? Can you hear me?
I can still, yes. It was
Yes?
breaking up. I think you have a slow connection. I don't know.
Okay. No, you
I don't
can't.
know about this internet in New York City.
Let me, okay, now it's okay, all right? Everyone hears me, right?
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Masha.
All
Yeah.
right, good, great, great. So what I'm saying is that there's a brain-body connection and a body-brain connection. Using your opposite hand stimulates a different part of your brain. And I would also say the reason why you do it is because you're practicing being present. Because you can't, whatever you do consistently, you get better at. And most people are distracting themselves, and they get really good at being distracted. And then you wonder why you can't concentrate when you read, or when you're listening to somebody, or when you're studying, or you're having a conversation. And so one of the reasons why is what you, on your not to-do list, this will be challenging for a lot of people, but I challenge you to do this, is not touch your phone. Do not touch your phone the first 30 minutes of the day.
That's
and
right.
that's a tough one. And here's the thing, the reason why is when you wake up in the morning, you're in this very relaxed state of awareness, you're very suggestible, and the first thing you do is pick up your phone. You are retraining, you're rewiring your brain to be distracted. And so every like, share, comment, it's like training you to be distracted as opposed to being focused. And when you brush your teeth with the opposite hand, it builds your focus muscles. And another reason why you want to brush your teeth with the opposite hand, I'll give you a third reason, besides as your body moves, your brain grooves. There was a study done at Oxford University saying jugglers actually have bigger brains. By learning how to juggle, it creates more white matter. And actually,
by the way, I bought some juggling balls after watching one of your videos because I remember you said that it really helps with your brain, and I got so inspired. I totally failed, but that was one of the things that you recommended in one of your videos.
It's also really good at, actually, when I teach speed reading, we train people how to do this because it opens up their peripheral vision. But basically, yeah, eating with the opposite hand, brush your teeth with the opposite hand, be able to stimulate a different part of your brain. And also, so number one, it creates new brain connections. Number two, it forces you to focus, which builds your focus muscles. But brushing your teeth with the opposite hand, and also, you want to get used to doing difficult things. Because here's the thing, grit is a muscle too. And if you could get yourself to do something difficult in the first thing in the morning, you're building your determination and your follow through. And here's the thing, if you just do what's easy in your life, which is procrastinating, putting things off, just binge watching every show possible, during the next few weeks. If you just do what's easy, then life becomes harder. But if you do what's hard, then life becomes easier. And I feel like that when you're doing something, you challenge yourself.
I think we lost you, Jim. There you are. I don't know if your Wi-Fi is slow. I don't know if you want to maybe disconnect from Wi-Fi. Let's see if we're gonna have Jim join us soon. He got me very interested. Now he's gonna leave me, so I really hope that we. Oh, there you are! Yay! For a second, I was like, Jim, don't leave me because I can't talk about brain myself.
And this is a good example in terms of distraction. Be able to build your focus and build your mental fitness. But what I'm saying is do this easier because of it. We're all here.
Yeah. I think so. I don't know what's going on.
It's weird. I apologize. So that's the key to motivation. It's again P times E times S3. Purpose times energy times a small simple step. And the question to ask is, how do I break this down to the small simplest step where I cannot fail? And finally, the last M are your methods. How to do something.
Methods.
This is the process where mindset is it's possibility. Motivation is purpose, and methods are your process. All right. Now watch this. Where
Yeah.
mindset crosses over with motivation, where mindset crosses over with motivation, that becomes inspiration. So in that spot, you want to
Right
write it's
here.
inspiration, right? Where motivation, where mindset crosses over with, and we know people who talk on mindset. There's a great book called Mindset, and there's people that experts on motivation or motivational books. Where they cross over, you have inspiration. And inspiration, they're inspirational speakers, inspirational movies, that's inspiration. And where mindset crosses over with methods, mindset is anything is possible, methods is you know what to do, it just stays here, and that's ideation. Ideation. So where mindset and methods cross over, you have ideation. And then, but you don't do anything because you're lacking the motivation. And where motivation crosses over with methods, you have implementation. Implementation. And here's the thing, you can be motivated and know what to do, but you're still stuck in that box because you're only going to be able to achieve what your mindset says is possible, what you believe you're capable of, what you believe is possible, what you believe you deserve, right? And so people could have the motivation and the methods, but their mindset is, I don't deserve deep down that relationship, or I'm not capable of learning that stuff, or earning that income. And the key really is you want to identify more with the thermostat than a thermometer.
Yeah,
Remember, you are a thermostat, you're not a thermometer. A thermometer, what does a thermometer do? It just reacts to the environment.
Yeah.
And
Reacts to what's around versus setting the temperature.
Exactly. A thermostat, it doesn't react to the environment. It gauges the environment, so it knows what's going on in the environment. So you can know what's going on the news, but it also sets a temperature, and then the world catches up and reacts to it. And so that's the model. And then where all three come together, you have a fourth eye, and that's integration. Integration.
Oh, I should have a different
integration, like in math, integer is whole. That's where you are whole. Integration is where this is who you are. And that's middle spot where mindset, motivation, and methods come together, or inspiration, ideation, and implementation come together. That's the limitless state. And that's where you are limitless, is right.
I just want to say, for those joining right now, we're talking about how to be limitless. Very casual conversation with Jim Kwik. His book is coming out in a couple of weeks, and if you follow the link below, you can not only get the book but also get a free 10-day course and learn how to be limitless, because why not? And these are just the basic notes. Jim's trying to teach me how to be limitless in 45 minutes and doing a pretty good job at it.
So when you have this framework, what you could do is, when you feel like you're stuck or you're not making progress, is it your mindset? Do you not believe it's possible? Do you not believe you deserve it? Or maybe you believe those things and you know it's possible, but is it your motivation? Have you found your purpose to do these things and really felt it? Are you optimizing your energy? Because maybe you lack the energy. Or are you not breaking it down to a small, simple step? Or maybe it's the methods you're using. Maybe you want to go and build this business, but you're using methods that don't work. Or maybe you want to learn better, but your methods are the things you learned back in school, like repeating things over and over again. I don't think that's a good method to learn something. Or sub-vocalization, which we talk about in the book, that inner voice. You ever notice when you're reading something, you hear that inner voice inside your head reading along with you? Hopefully it's your own voice, not like somebody else's voice inside. The reason why it's a bad method is if you have to say the words in your head, you can only read as fast as you could speak. And that means your reading speed is limited to your talking speed, not your thinking speed. And in the book, we show you how to reduce that sub-vocalization so you could read by sight.
Yeah. And I really love that about your book, because I was expecting for your book to be methods only. And I was so surprised, because the first chapter, you got me so, like, I wouldn't even say motivated, but just like so inspired and so like, oh my God, Jim, this is amazing. I felt for a second, I was like, oh my God, I really can achieve anything I can put my mind towards. And that was like, I don't want to say I didn't expect it from your book. I was expecting more of a method, but it was one of the most inspiring things I've ever read. And that
I
was only 20
appreciate it.
pages.
My message to everyone who's watching here is regardless of your age or your background, your education level, your financial situation, your history, anything is possible. And it's not, I think anything is possible when you learn how to learn, because you can apply that towards anything, especially now where you have to, this book is more than just speed reading and remembering names and languages. It's how to be able to master your mindset, how to be able to unlock your purpose. It's about how to be able to focus and be productive working from home. And it's the things that I feel like are really timely right now, that if you feel like you're in this cocoon, as we started out with, while the beauty is in the butterfly, the growth happens in the cocoon. And we can all go through these growing phase
together. And it's so beautiful. I mean, this is coming from someone who's called Boy with a Broken Brain, and an immigrant girl that didn't speak any English 12 years ago, so look at us right now. You wrote a book. People are asking to please show the cover, Jim, if you have it handy. Can we show the book real quick?
This is the book. It's called Limitless. I know everything might be backwards right now, but the book is called Limitless, and you could get.
But this is a brain exercise, actually. Can you read backwards?
Yes, if you could read it backwards, if you could read what's on my shirt backwards, then you have the potential to be. It says follow your heart, but bring your brain.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Jim, you promised you're going to teach me to count in Japanese.
Yeah, so I thought maybe we could do some memory in the time that we have. And here's the thing, there's no such thing. Yeah,
we still have a second.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a good or bad memory. There's just a trained memory and an untrained memory. So for those people who want to learn another language, there are a number of things. And these are tips, because the training is something different. If you get the book, you can go through and really train your brain. But a couple of quick tips for anybody. Does anyone want to learn another language? A lot of people. So one of the ways. And you can hear me okay?
Right now I do, yes.
Okay, great. There's a little bit of a delay, so I appreciate everyone's patience. Patience for me, by the way, when people say be patient, is not about just passively waiting. It's about maintaining a good attitude while we still do the work, while we're still progressing. I think the ultimate adventure we're all on is to be able to realize and reveal our fullest potential. And I feel like that's what everyone has in common here. We don't have to be perfect, but we just want to make some progress, each day and each week. Yeah. But going back to languages, everybody has the ability to learn, just like have you learned the language that you currently know. One of the tricks, a tip to learn languages better, is to use all of your senses. Meaning when you could see it and you could hear it and you could feel it, then you could do it better.
We can hear it right now.
Yeah, I'm in the heart of New York City right now, so there's some sirens. But here's the opportunity to train your focus muscles right now and really focus. So, you mentioned Japanese before we started recording, and I could give people, let's learn how to count to 10 in Japanese. How about that? Everybody together.
I have no idea. I don't even know a single word in Japanese, so this is perfect.
Well, this is perfect then. And so we tend to remember what we see. I mean, even when it comes to remembering names, how many people are better with faces than they are with names? Much better. You go to somebody and you say, I remember your face, but I forgot your name. You never go to somebody and say the opposite. You never go to someone and say, I remember your name, but I forgot your face, right? You don't say that. And you tend to remember more what you see. There's a proverb that goes, what I hear, I forget. What I see, I remember. And what I do, I understand. What I hear, I forget. I heard the name, or I heard the word, I forgot the word. What I see, I remember. I saw the face, I remember the face. And what I do, going back to practice, you understand. Because practice makes progress. Practice makes progress. And so if you can see it, hear it, and feel it, you'll be able to learn it better. So let's say counting to 10 in Japanese. We'll do this together, okay? I want everyone to do what I do, say
Let's
what
do
I
it.
said. All right. So I want everyone to scratch their knee. Say itchy knee, and scratch your knee. That's 1 and 2. Ichi is 1, ni is 2 in Japanese. Ichi ni.
Oh, okay.
Now 3
That was easy.
3 is san. So you could repeat after me. San. And just point to the san. Because it kind of is not exactly the same, but you're san. Good. That's 3. And 4 is she. So point to a female. She. She. Yeah, exactly. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So from the top, ichi, ni, san, shi. She. Good. 5 is go. Like literally just go. Like walk. Go. Good. 6 is roku. Like you're rowing a canoe.
Roku. Oh, roku. Okay, go.
So this roku. Rowing a canoe.
Roku. Mm-hmm.
And do you remember from the beginning? Everyone's doing this, right? I'm not the only one.
Yeah. All right, so let's test me. Ichi, ni, san, shi, roku. Go, roku.
And that's 1 through 6 already. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 is shichi. So it's like, for me, I think about like sitting. So I go like shichi. But it's hot, so I go hachi, which is 7 and 8. So shichi, hachi. All right, do it one more time. Shichi, and then hachi. And that's 7 and 8. So start from the beginning. Ichi,
ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi.
And finally 9 and 10. 9 is coo. What makes a cooing sound?
Coo. A bird.
A bird? Yeah. So we could go like, what does a bird look like? Like this thing? Like this?
Oh.
A bird, like coo. So it's a coo. And then 10
coo?
is, yes. And 10 is, in Japanese, is ju. So like, we can just put on like a jewel. Jewel. Okay, so can you do 10?
10 jewels for 10 fingers.
There you go. Ready? Ichi.
That was my little memory. Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, ichi, hachi.
This one.
And I have 2 more. Don't help me. Ku, ju.
Very good. Nice job.
Oh my God, that was so stressful. Because just like everyone watching right now, I feel like I'm being called in front of the class.
Did amazing, and it took all 3 minutes.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
But the idea behind it, though, is when you can make something visual and auditory and physical, you're more likely to remember it. That's one little tip. We did podcast episodes. We do actually a whole section on languages, music you can listen to help you learn languages better, like certain classical music and spaced repetition, all these great hacks that you could stack in to be able to learn a language and have.
Jim, can I teach you a word in Polish?
Yes, please. I can't see comments anymore. When I came back, it's kind of weird. But go ahead.
Oh, really? No, everyone's loving the challenge.
Okay, good.
You're missing out all the good stuff. So I want to teach you how to say thank you in Polish, and it's dziękuję.
Dziękuję?
Dziękuję.
Dziękuję. How do you spell that?
Dziękuję. D-Z-I-E-K-U-J-E. Dziękuję.
Oh, beautiful.
Dziękuję. So yeah, so you taught me Japanese, I taught you some Polish. Oh my God, we are running out of time because I think the lives are only allowed to be an hour long, but this was, wow. This was just amazing.
Yeah,
it's so powerful.
Challenge everybody right now, if I could give people one last tip.
Someone wrote it down, like people are writing down the word dziękuję. One last tip. Okay, cool, perfect. Let's do
One
that.
last tip. If you want to learn anything faster, learn it to teach it to somebody else. Because if you had to teach something like the limitless model to somebody and you re-listen to this, then if you had to teach it or give a TEDx talk about it, you would pay attention better. You would take, notes.
Yeah,
you would own it. And when you teach something, you get to learn it twice. So I would encourage everybody who's here to be able to share one thing that they learned. And one of the ways you could do it is take a screenshot. Everyone take a screenshot like right now. And then
oh no, wait. This is how we do it, right, Jim?
Yeah, everyone do this. Take a screenshot right now. And repost this and tag Aggie, tag myself, and share that one thing you got out of this conversation. Is it, hey, the limitless model, or watch myself talk, or find what my reasons to do something, or, I really need to optimize my brain diet, or optimize my sleep, or break things down to small, simple steps. Or is it, when I want to learn something, be able to visualize it and be able to feel it, be able to hear it, whatever you learned in here, share it on the post.
Just one thing.
One thing, and then share it so you can teach it. Tag Aggie, tag myself, and then I'll actually repost my favorites. And for one person, I have an extra couple of galleys. I'll actually send one sign. I'll send one signed copy to somebody who does that and shares it and spreads the message.
It's amazing. Even extra points for even like explaining to your best friends over the phone what you learned today with Jim. And the course, join the 10-day challenge with Jim. Go buy the book. And I feel like when you start with learning how to be limitless, so then you can go from there for the rest of the quarantine.
Yeah, for Limitless, this is about, thank you so much. And people want more, they can go see
Jim,
the book.
you are a superhero, and we didn't even get to that part of how that's your superpower of learning.
In the beginning of the book, I walk people through a story about how I was a kid and I couldn't find my school for superheroes because I had my learning disability. And I grew up in Westchester, New York, and I read in the comic books that the X-Men school was in Westchester, New York. And I looked for it, And then one day, I actually, a few years ago, I got to go on set and I found the school, and because I wanted to find my superpowers. And the chairman of the studio sent me this photo here.
I was going to ask you if it's okay to show. Yes.
Yeah, this is
Look
me
at that, guys.
and the entire cast of X-Men.
Hugh Jackman, everyone.
Holly Berry, Jennifer Lawrence, and Michael Fassbender, Hugh Jackman, all these amazing individuals, James McAvoy. And but I found the superhero school, and he said, "Jim, this is your class photo." And it felt like I went full circle and found my school, and then I built the school, and this book became the textbook for the school.
So good. And I saw a meme, I don't know, like a week ago, and it says like the silence of the Avengers or the X-Men speaks volumes. And I'm like, well, Jim is here, so he's one of them, and he's helping us to survive this crazy time. Jim, this was so helpful.
Thank you so much.
You're amazing. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with you. Congratulations on your book. Good luck, and stay safe and stay warm.
Yeah.
Big hug. Bye.